If I could just say one word about this, it would definitely be a masterpiece. But this thing deserves much more in-depth when it comes to its design and everything. So this is my all-out review of the Nintendo Switch 2 Pro Controller. This review will have 3 different parts. First off will be just the general overview. Second will be features. The third will be how well it works in gameplay and things like that. So let's start by hopping in to the general overview. This is the Nintendo Switch 1 controller. Pretty basic, gets the job done. Has its joystick, has its D-pad, has its plus home, screenshot, etc. buttons. It has its 4 buttons on the top. Basically, it has everything that the Joy-Cons have, plus the charging port. And it's more of a traditional gaming controller. That was really what it was only designed for. The Switch 2 Pro controller is basically the same thing, except with more. We could end it there. Say it's much better upgrade, 10 out of 10, but that's too little. So let's start off with the Joy-Cons. These are the Nintendo Switch 2 Joy-Cons. I don't have the Switch 1s with me right now. So their joysticks feel like really smooth and really nice. Their buttons are nice too. They're just not the most comfortable to hold without the grip. Luckily the grip comes bundled. But this is a much better alternative for those who prefer traditional gaming and don't already have a Nintendo Switch Pro controller. Or really just any controller that works with a Nintendo Switch, PlayStation, or Xbox. So, yeah, that's basically the general overview. It's a pretty basic controller. They just really move the LED up. That's the only general difference that you can notice. Nobody's gonna really care though. In the general overview, I went over the Switch 1 Pro controller's features, which aren't really many. Then it also has the HD Rumble and stuff, but yeah. And then now I'm going over the Switch 2's features. And then for the third section, I'll be showing those features in action. So it's basically the same thing. D-pad's still really clunky. That's still the only bad thing. Except now it has the new approved C button to access game chat. And then at the bottom, instead of the LED lights as previously mentioned, it has a headphone port. Not sure if you can see that well. Then on the back, they added 2 buttons, GL and GR, which you can remap to some games, well, all games, and it will always be different per the game. So say you were playing Mario Kart, you could set L to A and R to B, and then say you wanted to play Kirby, then you could set L to Y and R to X, and if you went back to Mario Kart, you wouldn't have to change the map to get it back to B and A. And though that doesn't really have any weaknesses, the joysticks are much improved, honestly better than the Switch 1, since they have little padding around it. Not feelable, noticeable, but they have padding. And then otherwise, it's basically the same. And then it's white on the top. That's not really a feature, but works. And yeah. And lastly, showing these features in action in the gameplay usage. So I currently have my Nintendo Switch 2 Pro controller hooked up. And so this is a live showing. First off, I'm going to show you the C button, which you can press to access game chat. Not going to do anything with that right now. And then GL and GR you cannot remap on the home menu, so I'm going to launch up my Atari game. And just wait for it to load. And then if I hold home, can see the little side menu pops up. If you scroll down here to these little two things, you can see GL and GR are there. If you press this, it'll ask you to remap. So say then I pressed B. It would change to B, and then I pressed B again. Then they're both B. So now, if I go in to, I'm just going to choose a random Atari game. Let's go with Breakout, play game, and begin. If I press GL or GR, it'll serve, because B is usually the serve button. And now if I go back, I'm just going to let it die real quick. Now if I go back and press B again, it serves. Pretty neat. But now, if I go to, let's say, Kirby Air Riders, let it launch up, and then it loads in. I can hold home, and as you can see, they are not B. So then I can set this to Y, and this to B, then they're Y and B. I'm going to change this one to A, actually. So then you have the two ones here. Now if I go back to my Atari game, let it launch up. Hold home. Oh, I didn't know this. It resets them. Cool. Kind of annoying. I actually haven't really tried these yet, so this one's kind of like a first time one. And now for the headphone port is basically just literally what it says. Well, the Switch will send a Bluetooth signal to the Pro Controller, which will then play the audio that the Switch speakers or the TV would normally play through the headphones. So then you can have a pretty authentic experience. It's like you just want to have some chill time, and you want to have something like music playing on speakers in the background, so that way the two aren't going insane. You just have them on you can just have some headphones in playing the game. Or you can like launch up a game with a soundtrack like Mario 3D All-Stars, and then say like, okay, I'm gonna put on these headphones, turn on the soundtrack, and just chill. And those are the main features. So I can turn this off. Oh yeah, the other main feature of the Pro Controllers, but this is also on the Joy-Cons. You can hold home to turn on the Switch. Should turn on. Yep, there we go. It's not the best option, but definitely works, and so, yeah. So if you buy the Switch 1 or the Switch 2 controller, Switch 2, I would say, in terms of features, it's more feature-packed. But if you're just looking for a controller, since it's cheaper, I would recommend this, the Switch 1 one. But if you're looking for more comfortability, I would go with the Switch 2 one. So my Switch 2 final review, 10 out of 10, excellent. Anyway, that's it.